Hello, everyone. I'm so excited for this week's GFit conversation. We are bringing back in Danyelle. If you recall, she came on the podcast maybe about a month ago when she was just getting ready she was in the middle of her prep, well beyond the middle of her prep. And we chatted with her about her goals, her breakthroughs. And now we're on the other side. She's competed just last weekend, and I wanted to capture her while she was still on this high, and you're never going to forget the memories. But I was like, we need to capture you as soon as possible so that you can share your high, your vibes, your lessons, your breakthroughs, all of it with everyone. So we are welcoming back Danyelle. So come on in, Danyelle. Hey, girl.
Hi. Hi,
Hi.
everyone.
You are glowing.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
Ah, I love it. So we have so much to talk about, but let's just dive in. So you're 2 days post show. How do you
Yeah,
feel? How do you feel?
I am on this high that's just like not going away. I have just been smiling ever since, honestly, ever since Thursday when I got to San Diego, but like especially after the show, I just can't stop smiling. Like that was the coolest experience ever.
And what is obviously the smiles go so far deep. What's the biggest takeaway that you have right now? Is it that you freaking did this, or what is it?
That's like what it is. It's like I just cannot believe I did it. And it was fun. Like it was genuinely just so fun. I didn't know what to expect like going into a prep and like how it was going to end, but like it was so good. It was just so good.
So great. And so if you haven't watched the first conversation that I had with Danyelle, you must watch the first, because we dive deep into her why behind competing and all the struggles that she had up until that point. We talked about her mantra, this is where we push. So now this is kind of like episode 2. So you definitely want to tune into that one. And we talked also in the first conversation just about how, even though Danyelle did an intensive prep that most of you will never understand or even want to do, how it really like opens up so many doors beyond competing. And I always feel like competition preps like really kind of encompass everything in one. So I was even talking to your dad. I was so grateful to meet your family. And I want to talk about the support. Like I saw it firsthand, the people that you had there and all of that. But I was talking to him about how this is really opening up so many doors for you in all areas of your life, from your confidence. Like I want to talk about that, how this has been a huge confidence booster, and how you already feel, and I know because I've seen it and I had talked to your friends over the weekend, how you're showing up differently than you were 16 weeks ago. And he was giving you kudos because he's like, oh good, she's going to need to help me in this business, and I'm so happy to hear that she has the confidence to do it.
Yeah.
um so can we talk about your confidence for a moment and how that's like how it's translated into other areas of your life?
I think that through this prep, it just gave me a sense of purpose. And I kind of always feel corny saying that, maybe a little cringy. I'm like, oh, it gave me purpose, but truly it did. I feel for like a long time, I was lacking something. I just didn't know, I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't have any like umph to me. And then I went through this prep and I was like, wait, I know who the hell I am now. Like, I am capable, I am strong, I can do hard things. If you set your mind to something, you can do it. It doesn't have to be working out. It doesn't have to be eating super healthy. It could be anything. But I found it through this prep, and it has like lit a fire under my ass. And now I know in my heart I can do anything. So that's what it
Totally.
did for me.
Yeah, totally. Like it just makes you, no matter what it is, and that's what I was telling him, is like this goes beyond stage and really just proves that you can do the hard thing. You can overcome the challenges. You can overcome the self-doubt when you set your mind to something.
Mhm.
And I remember when it wasn't that long ago, you sent me a message and you're like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done, but I love it so much,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's kind of like that dichotomy. So talk about that. It's like you love the step mill, but it's also the thing that you dread the most, like how you really like thrive through that.
That's like kind of like a tricky thing to answer. It's like a love-hate relationship. It's like, I freaking hate you, Stairmaster, but I'm gonna be on you for every single minute. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna cheat the 5 minutes at the end. Like, I'm on the Stairmaster for 40 minutes because it's the best thing that for me, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, and it's just, it's one of those things where,
So
okay,
talk to me about that dichotomy. Like, why is it that love hate? It's like the hardest thing you've done, but then the thing that you crave and love so much, what is beyond that, behind that?
it really boils down to the structure of it. Like, I am someone who needs structure in my life. I thrive off of structure, even though it's super hard. That's where I just perform very well. So when I'm on the Stairmaster and I know I have 40 minutes that day, I'm not taking those last 5 minutes off. Like, I'm pushing myself and I'm doing it because I know that that's what's going to make me the best version of myself. So it all boils down to the structure of things.
And I mean, that's so right. Everybody I work with, whether it be you at 28, my youngest client to date, or somebody who's in their 50s, 60s, it's like, it's structure. We thrive. Even my kids thrive off structure, and we're stepping into summer right now, and I'm just stepping in. I'm like, okay, we're gonna have to pull together some structure, because without structure, everyone's a hot mess. And so what a competition does, or even focusing on like some sort of challenge, whether it be training for some event, or, even like when you're trying to get a degree, like there's structure. I have to do this for this, and there's this event or this exam or whatever it is. And so it's like knowing there's like no question, it's just like,
Yeah.
here's what I'm eating, here's how I'm working out, here's my goal, here's my focus. And there's just something so powerful about kind of setting a goal and then having the structure to see it through, where there's no wavering.
I feel like people get really scared of structure, but I think it's so easy. It's like the easiest thing. It's just like you do X, Y, and Z, and then you're good. Like, your days all mapped out, your weeks mapped out, your months are mapped out, whatever it may be. And then you start at A and you'll end at Z.
Exactly.
You got to have some structure in your life.
And then it's funny because like I find that when I have less things going on or less structure, then I get less done. Where could you like think
Yes.
moment, Danyelle, think about how did you do all the things that you did in a day? And you can probably conceptualize that now, but give it like 2 weeks from now, 2 months from now, you're gonna look back and be like, how did I do all of that? Because I know I feel that way when I look back at what I did to do what I did. And I'm like, how did I accomplish all that? But when you're in that zone, you just do.
You just do it. You just flow, and it like becomes second nature. And like, even today is kind of weird for me. Obviously, I haven't gone to the gym yet, and I'm just kind of like, oh my god, like what can I do right now? Like, what do I clean something? Do I go upstairs? Do I watch a TV show? Like, it's just like a little funky. But structure is very much needed, I think. And I think it creates a very healthy balance in your life.
Totally. Now, okay, with that being said, there's now you're coming off of the show, and we're going to need to create a new kind of structure.
Yeah.
And this is really important because, so many people come off, and I have this article that I'm going to share with you. I'll even put it in the show notes below. It's called the post-competition blues. I mean, and this is true for like any event that you try for, even like when you're preparing for a wedding, it's like, it's a post-event come down because you've been so focused, and it's a real thing that I want to prepare you for, because it's very common that, after having so much structure and this thing to work towards, that afterwards it's kind of like a little bit of a come down,
Mhm.
It's going to be important that we create a new type of structure like tomorrow.
Literally tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you afraid of that, Danyelle? Are you afraid of coming down and now bringing in refuels, bringing in fun foods again? Talk to me about that.
Totally. It does scare me. And today was like a huge wake up call. Like, no, I don't want to say wake up call, actually. Like, it was just, I don't even really know the word for it. For example, let me just show you guys really quick everything my coworkers had in my office when I got to work today.
Oh no, it goes.
So I have a whole basket of goodies. We have cookies, we have Reese's, we have cinnamon rolls. And if you listen to the last episode, I was craving cinnamon rolls. So they got me a huge cinnamon roll. Cookies, cupcakes, like teas, cookie butter, like all of this junk food, right? And I was like, what the hell? Like, I want to eat all of it. And I did. I ate every single thing. Like, I had a bite of every single thing. And then I sat back and I'm like, hold on, Danyelle. Like, we're going to get into a really bad downward spiral. We have to pull it back a little bit. And moving forward, I'm like, okay, tomorrow I'm right back on. I'm getting to it. Like this, I literally brought all of this stuff home because if I were to keep this at work, I would just pick at it all day. Like I'm gonna go to my refrigerator and get a Reese's, and then I'm gonna go get a cookie, and then I'm gonna go get this. This is at home where I'm not home. I'm here for 4 hours, you know.
Isn't it interesting how they gift or they showered you with sugar? I just find that it's so funny how people think that it was, I mean, it was no excuse prep. However, let's remember the oatmeal and the blueberries that you were like, I'm obsessed. I could
Yeah,
eat them every day.
yeah,
And it's funny how people just think like, oh, she's going to extreme. So we're gonna feed her all this other stuff.
yeah.
And how has this prep created a new like idea of lifestyle for you, getting creative with your foods, learning to love the most simple things? Because I want to remind you of that so that we can now start to bring those healthy, yummy things in.
Mhm.
And maybe it'll be interesting to see how you feel over the next few days, but like though that sugar, now that you have your body so primed and you've been giving it such good foods,
Mhm.
and you can talk about that too after the prep, after the show, but how your body now is going to process those foods in not such a good way
Yeah. So your question is how has my mind changed with food
with
as
lifestyle.
far as my meals?
Yeah, because everyone thinks that you were suffering so much, and so they're giving you all this stuff. And I just find that interesting because I never even wanted that kind of stuff when I was
Yeah,
done because of how
yeah,
we did it. And I just feel like we did things in such a lifestyle way
yeah.
that how has that changed for you?
I think that they gave me all of this stuff to begin with because, like, obviously going through prep, you're like thinking about the foods that you never even want to be like to begin with. If I was on off of prep, I wouldn't go to the grocery store and get these Reese's dipped animal crackers. But because I was on prep, I was like, oh my God, look at these cookies. They look so good, you know? So they're showering me with all this sugar. But like the reality of it is like, I know now this is not satisfying to me. This is just like an idea. This is just like, oh, this is fun. I want to eat it, but it's not something that I want to put in my body anymore. I can eat a bowl of oatmeal with blueberries, maybe some nut butter, maybe some sugar-free syrup in there too, and be completely satisfied and probably enjoy it more because I know I'm putting something good into my body rather than this crap. I obviously ate all of this stuff today, and right now I'm feeling like I need to go on the Stairmaster for 2 hours straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you
But
you will have those moments too, right? Where it's almost like the old version of you probably would have been all over that, and
yeah.
now the 16 weeks has literally changed you, and
Oh
you're
yeah.
the new version who
Mhm.
you have to get to know.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm even surprised with myself. I actually just made an Instagram post about my groceries. I just did some grocery shopping, and these are groceries that I picked on my own. I haven't gotten a menu yet, but I got some things that I know we're going to add back into our menu. And I did a poll on my Instagram saying, what do you think I'm most excited for? And the number one thing I'm most excited for is Greek yogurt. Like Greek yogurt, it's high in protein. I could put it in my dressings. I can have a yogurt bowl. I could put it, I can marinate a chicken with it. Like there's so many things I could do with it. And I'm so excited for it. Like screw the ice cream. Screw all
Yeah.
that crap. I want the Greek yogurt, you know?
Oh my gosh, I love that, Danielle. That to me is winning as a coach, um,
Yes.
because we want to create these lifestyle habits. And I'm just reminding you of these things that we talked about. Um, I remember when you felt so good and you were in a really healthy place, you were still having your blueberries, all the things. And I said to you, do you feel that you could live this week every with a refuel on the weekends? How
Yeah.
does that make you feel?
Mhm.
And do you remember what you said?
I was like, yeah, this is totally doable. And it's just like there's like a sense of like that you feel accomplished for the week. It's like you get a little prize at the end of the week. Like it like recharges you 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we're going to start working in like the lifestyle again. You've proven that you can do, I don't like the word extreme, but it's
Yeah.
pretty extreme, right? Like you didn't BLT, bite lick taste. You were on plan with every single meal. And
Mhm.
now it's time for us to add in this fun meal on the weekends, which obviously is going to look a lot different. I'm sure it's going to be just, like maybe your chicken salad with more of the dressings and fun stuff, or maybe some, healthy fries or whatever. But, we're going to start to work in more balance. And are you looking forward to that? Are you looking
Oh
forward
yeah.
to like grinding and then enjoying and then getting back on? And you've got your meal
Yeah.
preps down now.
Yeah. And you know what? I think what I'm looking forward to the most is it's not even obviously a refuel at the end of the week is amazing, but I think I'm excited to add in more. I don't want to say fun foods, but it's like I can add in some strawberries, maybe some blueberries, maybe some bananas, maybe some cottage cheese. Like I feel so satisfied by those things that come Saturday when it's refuel time, I'm just kind of like, "Mm, you know, I'll
Right.
just I'll just get whatever. It's not as a much of a big deal if that makes sense.
Totally. And that's how we know
Mhm.
we're doing things right because it's balanced and you're providing your body what it wants to where
Mhm.
those refuels become not as extreme.
Yeah, and then you like binge and you're like, "Oh, I want this and that and the ice cream and the cake and the pasta and the pizza." Like when you balance your days out, it just makes it flows better. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
I love that. So your mantra, this is where we push.
Mhm.
That led me after our conversation that was going through my head over and over. This is where we push when things got hard. Did you continue with that mantra or did you have any others as you got had to push towards the end of the prep or was that one?
Oh my god, yes. Yes, like, I would say the last, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks of prep. Peak week wasn't as bad because we were, like, pulling it back a little bit, but, the last I would say the second to last week, maybe the last 3 weeks, I was like, "Oh my god, this cardio, I can't do it. This is so hard," but I just kept repeating in my head, this is where we push, this is where we push," like, "Just keep going," type of thing, like, it's not going to change. Just keep doing it type of thing. And yeah, that's the only thing that was going on in my head. I think I was on Marco Polo with you, like crying. I'm like, Gina, this sucks. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do this, but like, I'm here, I'm doing it, I'm pushing. But yeah, it was in my mind
You
towards.
know what was so hard for me to even now, it's like we can try to explain to people, and I did say to you, like, this is a special bond that we have because nobody quite will understand unless you've been a competitor, unless you've like seen through a challenge and you have like done something where you have not missed a skip or a beat, just the mental and emotional breakdowns and breakthroughs that you have. And I remember I just remember all of our conversations and the highs and the lows and the cries and the doubts. And even after our last chat that, you were on a high, you were feeling really good, you were feeling very confident, you were having like you had broken through some setbacks. And then the following week, you had a few like moments again. And it was just like I wanted to remind people that, it is an ebb and a flow. You're going to have that confidence and then you're going to be like, "Oh, is my body changing? Is it responding?" And you kind of have like, I got this. And then you're like, but do I? And do you feel like that was like a common dance?
Yeah, I was like fighting demons every single day. Like I was in my head. I was honestly, to be transparent, I was thinking the worst at one point. I was like, I'm not going to get to where I need to be. I'm not going to get lean. I'm going to hold on to water. Like, why is my body not responding? Like, very negative. I had those negative thoughts, but I think that that's very normal on this prep or anyone doing a prep. Like you kind of beat yourself up if you have an expectation and you're not getting there, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And but then you have moments, you have days where you go to the gym and you're killing it when it comes to your weightlifting. Your cardio is a breeze. You're looking good, and you're like, "Oh my god, like I'm doing this. Like I'm
You feel
awesome."
fun.
So yeah, it ebbs and it flows for sure.
Yeah. And this is life, right? It's like you have days where you feel amazing and then other days where you don't have your strength and you're like, what's happening? And you try to blame whatever it is, the program, the things that you're doing or not doing. And it's like sometimes it's just it's all just part of it, whether it's prep or whether it's life prep or whatever it is. Like it's just learning how to just know that you've given your all. And I want to talk about that because you were so confident on stage. And I remember stepping on stage, and regardless like of where the placing is, what I placed, I knew when I stepped on stage that I had done everything.
Mhm.
And knowing that, it was literally like I really didn't have expectations because I was like, I've already won. and I know that that sounds cliche, but I even heard you talk to quite a few people like I've already won, and it was just so amazing to hear that. So, did you really feel when you were there and you stepped on to present yourself that you showed up the best that you absolutely could or
Yeah,
did?
100%. And actually, we did a posing lesson with Anna. And one thing that stuck with me that she said to me, she's like, when we started our session, she said, I don't care how you look. She's like, I don't care about anything. She's like, I just want to see your heart. I want to see that you did this and you're doing it with your heart. And that stuck with me. And when I walked on stage, I was just like, I'm doing this with my heart. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter what they think. And I'm just going to show them what I did, type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, Danielle, it's so beautiful. Is there anything that you would have done different in this journey that maybe you'll do moving forward?
Is there anything I would do different? I think I would probably just like trust my body a little bit more. If that, yeah, like trust my body a little bit more. Maybe not stress about little things. Um, yeah, really lean into like the power of just like letting go and like letting
Mm.
things happen.
Yeah,
I'm
surrender.
Yeah, surrender. That's a great word. I'm someone who likes to like I just sorry, I just like want to control things all the time. That's just like in me. And I think that's what I was trying to do at one point. Like, Gina, like, why is my body not changing? Like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? What do I need to change? And you're like, Danielle, slow down. Like, things are working. Trust me. And I think I just need to like lean into that more.
Yeah, and every time that you do something like this, I think that you trust that surrender muscle a little bit more, like this is the hardest part is kind of going into the unknown and not knowing what to expect. And but now it's like, okay, I know that my body's going to respond. I know that, now you kind of know what to expect, even though we go into things without expectations. And it only gets easier. And I talked about this recently, just even with my own lifestyle prep, is like there's so much power in knowing that you have a plan that works. There's something powerful about knowing, like, if I put in the work, I'm going to get the results. If I do this, then that, versus like, the first time you start anything, if you start a new diet, if you start working with somebody new, you're kind of like, I don't know, is it going to work? Like, but once you kind of know that it works and you can surrender to that, that's going to take your body to a whole nother level because there's not that internal fight, which causes the
Yeah.
cortisol and everything
Yeah.
that can potentially hold on to some of the weight.
Totally. 100%. So surrender would be the word that I would focus on my next prep if and when I do one.
Yeah, I love that. But even in life, like I feel like my one of my mantras is trust, surrender, and let go, right? It's like you got to just trust that you're doing your best or whatever, you have to trust that whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And then you've got to surrender to that. And then you just have to literally just like let go and just let it all work through you and for you. But you got to put in the work. It's not like you just like, oh, manifest it. You actually have to put in the work, which you did. Oh,
One thing I wanted to say, going back to like me being on stage, is I remember coming off stage and I don't remember what someone said to me, something about placing or like getting a medal or something like that. And I literally was like, I don't care. I literally just don't care. Like if I get a medal, if I don't get a medal, if I don't place, like going up on stage and just being there is the win. And I did that. And I just wanted to add that in there because if anyone is thinking about doing a prep, that's what it's all about.
yeah. You versus you, right?
Yeah.
And if you look back at the girl that you were and the girl that you are,
Mhm.
it's like
It's
you
totally different. I mean, you saw, so when I was on stage and I was doing my routine and whatnot, Gina was obviously down with my family watching, and she got to see my childhood best friend on FaceTime because she was watching me and she was screaming and she was crying and she was just like over the moon for me because she knew like how much it meant to me and how amazing it was for me to be up there and how much it changed me as a person. And like, she says like I just was like oozing confidence and yeah.
yeah. I had some side conversations with your two girlfriends, and that's, I think that is like from a coach's standpoint, and it's to hear from other people, and even for you, you
Mhm.
feel a certain way, but then when other people validate that, they're like, no, you literally are showing up differently, like you are not the same person. And it's so true, like we talked about, like that inside out transformation, like you
Yeah.
literally shed so many layers of yourself, and now you're just this new beaming person who I'm sure, obviously, we want to continue to level up and become a better version, but at the
Yeah.
same time you're coming from a confident version of you versus that insecure girl who I know you've struggled at times, and your friends had said no, she is like a different person. And I just loved witnessing the support that you have, Danyelle. And you have such incredible people in your life who have seen and have been there through these different versions of you, and that was just really beautiful to see and to hear.
Yeah, it was awesome. And honestly, it's all thanks to you. You have helped me so much, more than you know. I'm not going to get mushy gushy on here because I don't want you to cry, and I don't want to cry either. But like I it's because of you. You have helped me change so much, and I'm so, 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 so grateful for you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's been so fun. And if I could only record all of our conversations and like put them in together, right? It's like,
All our Marcos. Yeah.
yeah, it's that's why I was saying it was so hard to write a post, because it's like, especially when you're in like a social world, everyone's like looking at the image and they're just like, oh, she's so pretty. Gosh, she's dropped in as that an AI picture. No, that's her. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But they don't see what we've experienced together, like all of it, all of the dark, all of the hard, and how you overcame it, and your comebacks from hard, like I'm sure, in the past, maybe when you felt a certain way, it lasted maybe, I don't know, weeks, months, and now it's like it was a day. It was like a snippet, right? Even moments. Did you
Yeah.
did you notice that you were able to kind of bounce back a little bit quicker from doubt?
Yeah. 100%. Like you're saying, like if I have like a negative thought and then I can just flip that switch and be good. Yeah, my D Day. My D Day is a
Yeah.
great example. Had a D Day. I don't know if you guys we talked about D Day in the last podcast, right?
Yeah, where you had a moment, you took a day off, a Danielle day to do what
Mhm.
you needed to do to reset. Hmm.
Yeah. And that was like a huge turning point for me because typically something like that would happen and then I would just be down. I would just be like, my life sucks. But this prep literally changed me. And I was like, okay, I'm taking a day, taking a D Day. I'm going to have my moment and I'm right back on tomorrow and we're going to push through and we're going to get it going and
Overcome.
overcome it and just keep moving forward.
Love that. Now, how was it with your family? I know that they had never seen anything like this, and they were there and they were witnessing all of it.
I think they just like didn't know what to think, honestly, for a while. They were just kind of like, in awe almost or like, oh my gosh. Cause I mean, my parents watched everything. They watched the men, they watched wellness, they watched physique, they watched like they watched everyone. So they were just overwhelmed. But at the end of the night, they were so proud of me and so over the moon, so happy. And at first, I think this is normal. At first, people are like hesitant because they don't know what to think about bodybuilding or bikini shows or whatever you want to call it because people initially think like, oh, you're just going on stage to like show your body off, like that's all it is. That is not, I mean, yes, you are doing that, but like that is not what this is. There's so much more to it. And when they got to witness that, they were like, oh, I get it now, like I get it. And they enjoyed it and they wanted to be there and they had fun. And I think me and you were giggling because my mom and my aunt were just like staring at the men bodybuilders and they were just like having a freaking day. But yeah, my family loved it.
I think that, there's a little bit of curiosity that you've sparked, and that's kind of naturally what happens, because it's kind of like, wait, but this, they, like you said, they go in thinking it's one thing, but then they're like, but now she's like a different person. And now she's like coming into work totally confident, and she's has a different pep in her step. Like, what is this really all about? And I'm sure there's a little bit of curiosity around it. So
Mhm.
that's kind of exciting to kind of, let them be a little curious. And I'm sure everyone's curious now, what is your next step? Like what do you see for yourself now? How do you want to kind of, I want you to sit in where you are now and not always be like, okay, what's next? What's next? I think that that's really important that we kind of sit in it and like, just be in like this bubble. But
Mhm.
then it's natural that as humans, like our goal is to be a better version of ourselves. So what do you see for yourself? How do you want to be a better version of yourself? What is it that you want to kind of work on or focus on or any future goals?
So I would say through prep, I've proven to myself that I can do a prep. I can be strict, I can have structure, I can follow a plan, I can execute essentially. My next is okay, now I'm going to have structure, but there's no end goal. I guess I don't like there's no show. Like there's not something that I'm working towards. This is all, can I maintain? Can I be consistent? Can I create a new lifestyle for myself? When people bring donuts to work, can I say no thank you? Like, not saying that I can't have donuts, like have a donut every once in a while, but like just balancing my life the right way. That's my new challenge. That's the new thing that I kind of want to tackle because I think it's I don't know if this is going to make sense. I think it's easier doing something with an end goal rather than not having an end goal because
Mhm.
you have to just be consistent. You have to learn how to say no and you have to learn how to prioritize other things. Does that make sense? Am I making sense there?
Yeah, absolutely. And I said this to you and I'm going to reiterate it like the prep is so hard, or when you're doing something all in is so hard and now we're stepping into a different kind of hard and the all or nothing so common with people and it's almost like you went all into prep and then
Mhm.
now when we come out of it it can really open up doors to like you're not in this like you said this like container of this is my structure, this is what I do. And when
Mhm.
you start opening up that window or that door it can lead to like extremes in the opposite direction. And
100%.
so I'm grateful that we're continuing on together because I see what happens with a lot of coaches is that they like they take them to the goal and then they're like, okay, fly girl, like we're done with our goal.
Yeah.
When really this is the most important. It's very important to kind of come off and to work with a new set of mindset tools to make
Mhm.
sure that you're going to have moments. I had many myself, and then you come back on, and then you're going to have moments. And, whatever your thing is, maybe it is like the real sugar, or maybe it is whatever, too much of the good thing, like the peanut butter, whatever it is. And then we got to get right back on. And so that get back on is going to be really what we focus on. And then little by little, the get back on becomes, you know, there's more time in between the get back on, but this is a really crucial time. And as I said, okay, now you don't have a quote unquote, thing that you're working towards, but today you're going to the gym. Today
Mhm.
you're going to do your cardio. Like we really have to keep staying in motion, which is a number one mantra, right? Like we got to stay in motion. Otherwise, the object at rest is going to stay at rest.
Yeah. And I think so when we had our first conversation, we talked a lot about how when we had our taco shop meeting, you asked me like how on prep are you? And I was like, "Oh, I would say I'm like 85%." And you're like, "Well, we need to be 100% for prep." So, I went from 85% to 100%. Now, this is like my question is like, where do I go now? Am I on 90%? Am I on 95%? Am I on 100%? Like, what does that look like? And that's something that I'm going to have to work through. We're going to work through that. Obviously, you're going to get 1,012 questions from me, but that's kind of like where my mind is at. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, and I think that so we can't answer that question because your percent is going to be we'll know what that percent is. But what I see is that the old version of you that you're still identifying with
Mhm.
is no longer you. You now are like this new version. So for you, 85% is a good number, but it's going to look different. Like for
One-
you,
yeah.
85% may have been like, oh, I'm just going to have, my in and out and my this and my that. Where now 85% is like, no, I'm going to be all in during the week. And then my 15% is going to be my weekend fun, but it's going to be healthy. And so it's just going to look different. It probably will be around that 80, 90%, but it's
Mhm.
going to be a different type of percent. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And actually, like that one thing that just made me think of is through prep, I had 7 meals a day and I was meal prepping like crazy. Like Sundays, I was in my kitchen all day cooking. And just these 2 days that I've been off prep, I'm like, I need to get in the kitchen and cook. Like, I need a meal prep. And I know that that's going to stick with me. So now when I meal prep, and I bring all my lunches to work with me, if someone's like, what, how am I trying to say this? Like, if someone brings in and out, am I going to say yes or no? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where that percentage is going to change for me.
Yeah.
Because before it was like, yeah, I'm gonna have a burger and I'm gonna have some fries. But that's not something that I want anymore because I took the time to meal prep all my meals and I want to stay consistent with that.
Totally. But then you're also human and normal and you're new and young at this. So it is normal for you to cave and then to be like, ooh, I don't like how this feels. And then you get back on and then
Mhm.
you're going to potentially do it again. And then you're gonna be like, ooh, I don't like how this feels, to the point where then it becomes easier to say no to that thing
Yeah.
because of how it makes you feel. So that's where I say like you just keep kind of fine tuning it, and the percentages, or, even if they stayed the same, the choices will be different, so
Huh.
it'll be fun to kind of like guide you through this next step and this next process. And as I said, whether you do another show or not, like, now my goal is, okay, we've proven that you can do hard things. We've
Yeah.
proven that you can be 100%. Now, how fun will this be to be able to like live your life, for us to continue to refine your body, but
Mhm.
yet you still get to go out and have that fun time with your friends, and have that little bit of a social life, where that's where the percentages kind of start to, that's where you can't be 100% all the time. You need to have a life. You're young. Come on,
No.
live your best life,
Yeah.
right? But one thing I wanted to talk to you about live is this idea that, okay, now we know our goal is that we want to put on more muscle. We
Mhm.
want to work on conditioning. We want to continue to work on shifting that body composition. And it's normal for people, and you've even said it, like, oh, I gotta, put on some weight in order to quote bulk.
Mhm.
And I want to revisit that, because that does not have to be the case, and we don't need to put on weight to add muscle. We don't need to do that, and it's going to be really important that we just kind of stay where we are, and but continue to shift. So do you have any like fears or thoughts, or what you've seen about like bulking means, like, I gotta like increase calories like crazy?
Yeah, no, I've totally the whole bulking thing and like growing, like guys say growing season. They go into a growing season, so they can build all this muscle and bring a better package to their next show. And through social media and all of the things that I've seen, it's like these people get really big. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but for me, it's like triggering, right? It's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like that scares me. I'm like, do I have to do that? Like, I don't want to do that. So that was a big fear of mine. And then I remember you telling me when we were at the show, you're like, we don't need to do that. We can maintain this and you could still grow muscle. And I believe that because through my prep, I maintained all my muscle and I actually built muscle while doing it, while also losing a lot of fat. Um,
Yeah.
my numbers are crazy. Um, and I truly do believe that. So, yes, it does scare me, like gaining the weight and like the small weight that I will gain, but at the same time, like I'm not too worried about it because it's
I
like
got you.
the right way. Like,
Yeah. Because I got you.
yeah, it's 100%.
Yeah, and this is where you're gonna have to really trust and surrender, because I kind of think that like bulking season, or that bulking weight,
Mhm.
is almost like a woman now who says, "Oh, I'm getting older, so this is my old belly weight that just comes with age." It's an excuse, right? It's
Mhm.
like people that just put on the weight, they call it bulking because they're just using that as an excuse for the fact that they've put on body fat,
Mhm.
So we don't, but this is where, like, the beautiful thing about the carb cycling is that you are giving your body everything it needs, and you can't compare yourself to somebody else's journey who maybe was on this extreme low carb diet. So then, yes, you need carbs, you need all of the macros in order to grow and to drop body fat. So your journey, coming in it from a balanced, not so balanced towards the very, very end place, is completely different than somebody who's been restrictive all along. And then, yes, they need the surplus because they've been at a severe like depletion this whole time. So just remembering that you've done things differently, we've done things differently, and now, and adding in the refuel is going to be that little bump of, keeping the metabolism healthy. So the one thing I will tell you is, you're going to get your plan. We're going to start tomorrow. We're not starting next Monday. We're not falling into that. What do I have? My diet starts next Monday. I think I have like a a slogan here somewhere. Anyways, we're not falling into that. We're starting tomorrow. And it's just really important that we keep your metabolism going, getting in your foods, not getting lazy. Because I think that that's one thing that does happen with people. Like, even if they come to me and we're, you know, on whatever journey they're on or whatever goals, and then they stop, it's like what happens is even if they continue to eat healthy, they get lazy.
Mm-hmm.
The meal prep starts to fall off. The meals, they start to miss meals. And so what happens is that's when you're hungry, you don't have meal prep, you eat something, or, your metabolism slows down. So then you start to, you do start to put on. So for you, it's going to be the same routine and the same kind of like structure, just a different shade of it.
Yeah. And you know what? It happens quick. Like, it's like I guess you could say I've been off my structured meal plan for Sunday and today. And I can feel it. I can feel like that urge to just be like, oh, I don't need to do this or that. It happens very quick. So you just, as soon as you stop something, you just got to get right back on. Just like, don't even think about it. Like we're flowing.
Totally. Yes, Danyelle. And that's kind of what I've been talking about, just from like going from, you know, structure during the school year to now summer, and like, or like when things close during that time of year, when things close that we don't want to talk about, and it's like, okay, plan B, or like we got to just go from plan A to plan B. So
Yeah.
we did plan A, now we're going to go straight into plan B without any thought, and just boom to boom. That's how we're going to stay in motion.
Yeah. That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's how you win.
That's how you push, girl. So I'm so happy for you. And yeah, and this is where we push. I'm not joking. That's one of my favorite mantras now that you created. So thank you for that. This is where we're going to push to another level. Like, you went here, it checked that box, and now it's like it's going to be a next level of pushing. So, you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so ready. I'm ready to see how I'm going to change next. I know how I've changed through prep, but I'm ready to see how I'm going to change through not going through prep and seeing how I can maintain that and thrive in that.
Love that so much. Yeah. So this is where it gets fun. And I just want to remind you, this is a big game. It's a big science experiment. And it's,
Yeah.
it's just really about like, okay, here's your sculpted, beautiful body. And then now it's like, ooh, what can I do now? Like, how can I now like transform and grow and open up new doors that I never knew existed within myself, So this is where it gets really fun.
Yeah. And I'm so excited. And I'm so glad to be on this journey with you. You're the best coach ever.
Aw, ever, ever, ever.
ever.
Little side note. So fun. Well, thank you for joining us again. This was like season 2. We'll have to come back season 3, like in the middle of lifestyle, and see how you're transitioning. This is a big transition for you, and I'm just excited to be here with you. Like, we're gonna get through this with, with ease. Not that it's gonna be easy, but it's gonna be with ease. So really lean into that surrender. I love that.
Yeah.
Leaning into that surrender.
Definitely.
All right, Danyelle. Well, congrats, girl. I'm so proud of you. And thanks for sharing with everyone. And we will chat soon.
Sounds good. Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Bye, girl.
Bye.